First words. Ready? Hold on. Let's read first words. What things do we wear?
Oh, Dad don't have a helicopter on it. I don't have a helicopter on it.
That hat does not have a helicopter on it. It's a hard hat. That is a hat with a helicopter on it, or a propeller.
It's a round one.
What's this?
That's a
T-shirt. What's that?
That's a glove.
That's a glove. What are those?
Those are sand.
Sandals. That's right. What are those?
Those are pants.
What's that?
That's a shoe.
What are those?
Those are mittens.
Mittens. Good job. What's that?
And that's a helmet.
Good job. What's that?
And those are socks.
Socks. What are those?
Those are shoes.
Shoes. What's that?
And that's a bow tie.
That's a tie. And what's that?
And that's a tie.
Bow tie.
That's a tie and that's a bow tie.
Good job. And what are those?
And
Those are underwear or boxers. What toys do you know? What's that?
That's a bear.
Teddy bear. What's that?
That's a jumping rope.
Jump rope. What's that?
That's a xylophone.
Xylophone. What's that?
And that's a drum.
That's a drum. What's that?
And that's a robot.
Robot. And what's this?
And that's a mug.
Harmonica. Good job. What's that?
And that's a duck.
Rubber duck. What's that?
Say?
That's a puppet. What are those?
Those are trimmers.
Those are jacks. What are those?
Those are clamps.
Good job. What's that?
That's a wagon.
Good job. What's that?
With a choo-choo.
Choo-choo. What's that called?
The train.
That's a train. And what's this?
That's a
Rocket. That's a rocket. Good job. What's
and
that?
what's that?
What's that?
And that's a kite.
That's a kite. What's that?
And that's a yo-yo.
That's a yo-yo. Yo-yos go up and down, up and down. And what's that?
And that's a doll.
That's a doll. What are those?
And those are blocks.
Those are blocks. Good job. What parties and holidays do you know?
That's a cake.
That is a cake. What's that?
That's a pumpkin. That's very yummy.
That's a pumpkin. What's this?
What's that?
That's a menorah. What's this?
What's that?
That's around the house. That's an Easter basket. That's a menorah. That's a piñata. What's that?
What's that?
What's that?
You push something.
It's a piñata. You hit it with a stick and candy falls out.
What's that? We've get this. And then it follows the candies.
Yeah, that's right. That's a piñata. And what's this?
And that's a heart.
That's a heart for Valentine's Day. I love you. What's this?
That's a
Stocking. That's right. That's for Christmas. And what's this?
Daddy? What's that?
That's a graduation. That's a cap and a diploma. I hope you get a bunch of
And
those.
what's that?
What's that?
It's a radio.
That's a radio. What's that?
That radio plays music.
That radio does play music. And what's this?
And that's a pig.
Piggy bank. And what's this?
It's an umbrella.
Good job. And what's this?
And that's a TV.
That's a TV. And what's this?
And that's a book.
And we're reading a book. What's that?
And that's a globe.
That's a globe. What's this?
And that's a phone.
That's a phone. And what's this?
And that's a chair.
Good job. What animals do you know?
Which one's stinky?
Which one's Stinky?
That's stinky.
That's Stinky, a P.U. skunk. What's that?
That's a
That's a possum. What's this?
what's that?
What's that?
It's a hamster.
That's a hamster. That's right. What are these?
Those are cats.
Kittens. How many kittens?
1, 2, 3.
3 kittens. That's right.
The kittens.
Where's a raccoon at?
The raccoon.
Good job. Where's the deer?
No. Where's the deer?
Where's the deer?
Deer is. The deer is right
Good job. Where's a doggy?
there. The doggy.
Where's a rooster?
rooster.
Duck-a-doodle-doo. Right there. Where's the possum?
Where's the horsey?
Where's the horsey?
Nay, what's that?
Nay, nay, that's right. That's a horsey.
What's that?
What's that?
It's a bunny.
That is a bunny. You're right.
That was
See the bunny?
cute.
Mm-hmm. And what's that? That's a guinea pig.
It's a guinea pig.
Mm-hmm. Where's the regular pig? Where's the big pig? Oink, oink.
There's a big hamster.
Where's the goat?
Where's the chicken?
Where's the
All
chickens?
kinds of chickens.
Where's the chickens at?
Where's the one chicken? Where's the one chicken?
Where's the one chicken?
One chicken.
That's a rooster. Where's two chickens?
Where's two chickens? There's two chickens.
And that's a ferret, and that's a lamb, and where's a mouse?
The mouse and a bunny.
Good job. Okay. Last page. What sports do you know?
Those are ski boots. And those are skis.
Ski boots and skis. That's right. Where's the baseball?
You want to go skiing in the snow?
You want to go skiing in the snow? Okay, we can.
Yes.
Where's the baseball at? Where's the baseball?
The baseball.
Where's the football?
Football.
Football. Where's the baseball bat?
Baseball bat.
Baseball bat hits the baseball. Home run. Where's the basketball?
The basketball.
Basketball. You have a blue sucker. Where's the weights?
The weights are... Those are weights.
1, 2 weights. Where's the helmet?
The helmet.
Helmet. Where are the golf clubs?
Golf clubs are...
There. Where are the ice skates?
Ice skates are right there.
There. Where's the basketball? Did we say basketball?
Basketball.
Where are the goggles for swimming?
Goggles for swimming.
Where's the tennis racket?
Tennis rackets.
Tennis racket. Where's the snowboard?
The snowboard right there.
Right there. Where's the bicycle?
The bicycle right there.
Good job. Where's the putter? Putter's a golf club.
There's the putters.
Putter. Because you have to hit the ball in the hole. And where's the baseball mitt or glove?
Baseball mitt glove.
Right there. Good job reading. Yay. Okay.